Photography Explained podcast episode 196, highlights of 2024. Yes, in this video, I am going to talk about the highlights of my splendid photography podcast. What is not to love? Hi, Rick here, creator and indeed all things at the utterly splendid Photography Explained podcast. In this video, there is no answering bit. No, this is a different episode. This is how I finished 2024 with a light-hearted look back at my favourite things from 2024. Why not, eh? Okay, first thing, what was the most popular episode of the Photography Explained podcast in 2024? It was episode 174, Photography Composition Tips and Techniques. Yes, episode 174, Take a Bow. You are the most downloaded episode of 2024, and by some distance. Now, this episode was released mid-February 2024, so it's not just got time on its side, it was a popular episode. And one of the things that got a really good reaction was the questions that I suggested you ask before you take a photo. Here they are. What are you taking a photo of? Fair question, isn't it? Why are you taking the photo? What are you going to do with the photo? What are you going to include in the photo? And there are two further questions. The harsh one, but let's be honest about what we're doing taking photos. Why would anyone care about the photo you've taken? Why would anybody care? And the final question. If I take this photo, can I be bothered to edit it? Because if I can't be bothered to edit it, why should anybody else be bothered to look at it? Now, I know this sounds harsh, but this really does work. Ask yourself these questions before you take a photo. And you know what's going to happen? You'll take less rubbish photos. Yes, you will. You'll start to take better photos. And I know, because this is what I do. Yes, I might not ask every question every time, but I do question myself. I do think before I take a photo. I've talked about in the next episode of the podcast my 3 photography superpowers which I deploy before I take a photo. And my 3 photography superpowers, which I'm digressing into the next episode already, which isn't good, is it? They are walking around, looking and thinking. Yes, really. Anyway, back to the subject. So yeah, that was the most popular episode in 2024. Now, I've no idea why I decided that the next thing I'd cover is what was the least popular episode of the Photography Explained podcast in 2024. I don't want to know. You don't want to know. It's the least popular one, wasn't it? But I'll tell you anyway. It was episode 186. Get out taking photos more, but take fewer photos. Yep, the least popular episode. Right, let's move on. What is the oddest photography question I was asked in 2024? It was this. Does he ever answer a question? Yeah, that question appeared on my YouTube channel. It was a comment on a question that I answered. Absolutely baffling, but I guess you're going to get the odd strange question. But what was the best photography question? It was a listener question from Karen in Gloucester, Virginia. Hello, Rick. I'm a hobby photographer and learning quite a lot from your podcast. Thank you for that. Can you do an episode strictly on lenses, explain in detail what the numbers mean, what is best used for what situation, etc.? It can be quite confusing for a rookie. Thank you, Karen. P.S. If you've already done an episode like this one, would you mind sharing the number? I haven't been able to find one. Cheers. Thanks, Karen. This produced episode 189, Camera Lenses Explained, my beginner's guide. And the whole idea of my podcast is that you, my dear listeners, you send me questions and I answer them. Now, between us, I haven't added anywhere near as many questions as I would have liked. So if you've got a question, just leave a comment on this video and I will answer it in a future episode. Right, number 5. Who cares about all this photography stuff anyway? No one cares as much as a photographer does about all this stuff that we love and are interested in. Or, more to the point, no one cares about anything. All people care about is this, your photo, what's in your photo. Nobody gives a stuff how much your camera costs, how amazing you are, what a great photographer you are, how many hours you spent refining your craft. No one cares that this has been a lifetime's work dedicated to the art of photography. No one cares about the lengths that you went to get that photo. And here's a new example for this episode. No one cares that you walked 47 miles barefoot through the Sahara Desert fighting off lions, tigers, camels, snakes, and other bad stuff to capture that once-in-a-lifetime equatorial desert northern lights style lighting extravaganza. No one cares. People care about your photo and what's in it. And that's it. So don't forget that. And that's why you and I should spend more time on what we're taking photos of. More time on that than anything else. Right, number 6, rubbish photos. Become a bit of a theme at the end of the year was me talking about why have I got so many rubbish photos, because I do have a lot of rubbish photos. I don't want to talk about that now because it does hurt a little bit, because I've got rid of about 17,000 photos from a Lightroom catalogue that were rubbish that I didn't need. And this is an ongoing process, and at some point in 2025 I will work out how many rubbish photos I did have that I've got rid of. I'm a bit worried I'm not going to end up with many photos between us, but let's move on. 7, RAW versus JPEG. I don't know what I'm talking about. People pointed out to me, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't explained what you're actually seeing when you see a RAW file on screen. You haven't explained what's happened to the JPEG, what all these things are that are going on in the background. But do you know what? Knowing that, understanding that, it will not help me take a better photo. It will not help me create a better photo in Lightroom. I don't know how my telly works. I could turn it on, I could change the channels, I could turn the sound up, I could turn the sound down, and I can turn it off again. Do I know how all those things in the background work? Not a clue, and I don't care. See, life is too short, and that is what I call irrelevant details. Talking of which, seamlessly nice one, Rick. What are irrelevant details in my world of photography? Well, I've just given you one example there. I don't know how a telly works. I don't know how electricity works, but I know it can hurt me, and that's why I am very scared of it. That's all I need to know. I could turn on a light switch. I could turn off a light switch. I can plug something in and it works. Yeah, even my telly. But do I need to know how? No. Right, move on. Number 9, my one photo rule. Well, this was first introduced in episode 152, my splendid one photo rule. And it's appeared again in episode 197. Well, why not? I want to start off the new year with something about taking better photos, and that's what the episode is that will be published not long after this video, episode 197. Well, don't let me spoil it for you. Subscribe to my channel and it will appear in front of your very eyes as if by magic. Somehow I'm not really sure how that works. I probably should do, shouldn't I? Number 10, what are the recurring themes in the Photography Explained podcast in 2024? Don't worry, I'm going to be quick here. Simple, these are they. And this is a list I'm just going to flash through. Pun intended. Go out more taking photos. Think before you take every photo. Take fewer photos. Take better photos. Delete the rubbish. Edit the good stuff. Use your photos the best you can. Love your photography. Spend less time on gear. Don't listen to the idiots. Don't worry about stuff you don't need to worry about. And if you need help, ask me. I am here to help you, dear listener or viewer. Okay, that was that list, and it's all common sense stuff, isn't it? And somebody did make a comment on my YouTube channel saying, this is common sense, isn't it? I like this. There's not enough common sense in this world. And I agree. Thank you for that really helpful comment. And number 11 out of 10, I know I had something I'd forgotten. Why you shouldn't use flash photography in museums. I got shouted at for this. I got really shouted at. But the last laugh is mine, because there is a nightclub in the UK that is banning the use of phones on the dance floor to record videos. Fantastic. Let that be the beginning of a better life for all of us. Right, that is me done. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments. Why not like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss all the good stuff I got coming up, and there's plenty of it. And on my channel, I talk about my podcast and other photography related stuff. It's all good stuff, and it's all in plain English without the irrelevant details. How utterly splendid. Anyway, I'm done. Thanks for watching. Take care. Cheers from me, Rick.